Okay, good morning. We're here with Gladys Roldan-de-Moras, who is joining us from her studio down the road in San Antonio. And she's going to tell us about her Texas Masters pieces. Gladys, good morning and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Elizabeth. So nice to see you, and good morning to everybody.
So, Gladys, I'm just going to do a quick pan of all four of your pieces for Texas Masters so everyone can see them. And then we're going to go through and talk about each one of them individually. They're so great. And you've done a really wide variety of subject matters for this show. And I love it. So Gladys, why don't we start here? This is called Dia de los Muertos, and it's a 24 by 36 inch still life. Why don't you tell us about this piece and your still life paintings?
Sure. Well, this painting is kind of special for me because I painted this when more or less we were in the full blown into the pandemic, and I found myself alone in the studio. And it was around the Dia de los Muertos. So my husband and I traveled up to north of Blanco here in Texas and picked up from the farm these beautiful flowers, marigold, that we use in Dia de los Muertos. So I decided to set something up with candlelight, which I enjoy painting. And the more I painted this painting, I realized that I felt like that little doll right there, just kind of like frozen in time in my studio. And I have some things that are meaningful for me. Of course, the Mexican props that are there, but I also have Our Lady of Guadalupe, which is also very important for our culture. So I kind of like jokingly call it my self-portrait during 2020 because that's how I felt. So it's a different subject matter, but a lot of people don't know that I paint a lot of still lifes. I keep painting from life because I feel that that's the only way to be able to paint some of the subject matter that I do paint is from constantly referring to what light does in nature. And so I am constantly doing that. So it's a special painting for me.
The marigolds here lend really well. You always do such beautiful things with fabric and texture, and marigolds have so much texture to them, and they really lend very well to your style of painting. And I love how you incorporated culturally all of the things that were significant in this piece. I think it's so fun, Gladys. Okay, this is another one that is very personal for you with your niece, I believe. This is called Borea, and it's a 36 by 24. Tell us about this piece.
Well, this piece I started to address more my Spanish side of my life history. So my wonderful niece Beatriz is a flamenco dancer since she was very young. She is an engineer, but she does recitals and she has a whole accoutrement of flamenco. I myself did study flamenco also growing up. So I tried to address my Spanish side of I'm having a lot of fun. And this is called bulería because that is precisely the type of music that she was dancing to. And it's interesting because I love to be playing the music that she is dancing to. And she was just here this weekend also to post more for me. So I'm excited to address my Spanish side and paying very close attention to all the significance that pertains to and the importance of trying to address the right dress with the right melody with the right hands. And this was very fun. I really liked it. I love this painting, and it has a very Spanish kind of a totally Spanish Latin feeling to it. So it was a lot of fun.
It's a wonderful combination of all the beautiful fabrics. You have to excuse us, there's sirens going by. It's not great for our
Yeah,
recording here. And all of the fabrics are so beautiful, the texture of the fabrics, and you get so much movement in this piece, and it's so graceful, Gladys. And I love that you painted your niece, and I also love how you're always listening to music when you're painting. Between the flamenco and your son's opera music, and this piece is very, very musical, and I love that. The next
thank you. And
piece. Mhm.
if I might say, um, um, the whole painting, you can look at me up on Instagram, and you can see on my folders, work in progress, you can see this whole painting, how I started the drawing and the coloring and everything. And a lot of people like to see that. So it's available on my Instagram account.
And Gladys,
watch.
tell us what your Instagram account is.
It's Roldan-de-Moras altogether.
Roldan-de-Moras.
Just Roldan-de-Moras, not yes.
Okay. At Roldan-de-Moras on Instagram to see how this piece right here came together with the work in progress, which is really a fun behind the scenes to see how the step-by-step progress on that at her Instagram account. Okay, Gladys, this piece is called Tradition. It is one of your wonderful charreada pieces, again with a mother child, and she looks like she's just had a long day and she's ready for a quick nap. Tell us about this wonderful, vibrant piece.
Yes, well, you're actually almost right in that, because the girl is exhausted. They probably have been up early in the morning bringing the horses down to the lienzo, and that's what happens with these. As you know, the escaramuzas, which is translates to squirmish, is the official female sport of Mexico. And I might have to say that there are, I believe the last thing I heard is 12 states of the United States have these teams. And these teams are groups of 8 girls, and they compete in the rodeo, or what we call lienzo charro, which is a little bit of a different shape than the American rodeo. The Mexican rodeo looks more like a pan. It has a big handle and a circle. But when the teams get together and they're all dressed up beautifully, they are teams of 8 girls, and there might be 5, 6, 7, whatever teams. They, at the beginning of the event, they will come into the rodeo. And that is the only moment when they are allowed to bring their youngsters, which they dress up, boys and little girls, in the same kind of outfit of the team. And so they come in, and they as groups, and they stand around the rodeo, and they salute all of the people that are present. So this little girl came with her mother. She's one of my favorite models. And she fell asleep, exhausted, yes. It's very hot, but these girls, my hat's off to them. It's such a tremendous athletic sport, not only for the rider, but for the horse. And then it is so hot. I've been out there, taking my photos and sketching and all of that. And I have fainted in the hot sun, and I'm not the one on the horse. And with these elaborate dresses on, I felt terrible when that happened once. But that is exactly the moment. And I called it tradition because it is a tradition that is passed along from family members, from parents to children, and they follow this tradition. That is why it's called that.
I'm going to zoom in here on this piece so we can get a good look at this sweet look on their faces of tenderness with the mom. And I didn't realize that the children get to come out and see that, and it gets them excited about it from a young age, and it really is carrying on a tradition. It's really a wonderful backstory to that. All right, this next piece, I'm going to let you say the Spanish pronunciation. Rain is on the way is the American, the part that I can pronounce. It's 24 by 48.
Yes,
and
and
tell
it
us
is called,
about this piece.
yes, it's called Viene el agua. I can't remember exactly the title. I put it's something like Ahí viene el agua,
Yes,
which
viene
means
el
water.
agua. Uh-huh.
Yeah, viene el agua. Okay, that is a slang that we use very much in northern Mexico. You know, that we will say, rain is on the way. What's a little slang? So, because I had somebody comment about why I was using that term, that I am born and raised in Mexico, probably been in the United States for over 35 years, but that is the way kids will talk to each other. So what I'm trying to capture is that one is telling the other, rain is on the way, and you can see way in the horizon the clouds, and they're just hurrying up to get to wherever they're trying to get to. And in the background, you'll see the team of escaramuzas with their trailer trying to put everything away because there is some thunder or rainstorm coming by. So that was a lot of fun trying to capture the movement of the hair and the movement of the horses and all of that. So it's a very fun painting for me because I saw this happen right in front of my eyes as as I was attending one of these charreadas here in South Central Texas.
So let me zoom in here on the movement. Gladys, you do such a great job with horses. Here's the storm you were talking about in the background. And the boys as they're rushing and all of the charreadas in the background.
And there's a horse right there in the back. Yeah, there's a horse right there in the background on the edge that has a towel on top of his head because it's so hot. And I wanted to put that in there.
Oh, that's great. The towel right here on top of the horse's head. I didn't realize they did that to keep the horses cooled down. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know either. I've never seen that, but I thought that, that said a little story, trying to say a story. So, and trying to capture the beautiful South Central landscape of Texas.
You captured so many of these different things so well in these pieces, Gladys. And thank you so much for talking to us about each of them, the stories, and I think just having a cultural reference for people to understand what you're capturing in each of these really gives it context. And they are just beautiful and vibrant and full of color and life. And we're just excited to have them in the show. So Gladys, thanks so much for being part of this morning. And hopefully we'll get a chance to see you in person soon.
Yes. Thank you, Elizabeth. And thank you, everybody who stopped by.